You are!
There it is.
Hell yeah, boss!
Oh, hey!
Oh, yeah!
Good morning and welcome to episode 1368 of Hard Factor. It is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. Thank you for cheating on the news with us. 80% accuracy guaranteed right here on this podcast. Subscribe, like, and set to auto download, even though apparently that doesn't matter, but you should still do it so that you have it on your device at all times. Thank you. Today, we've got a troubling new trend called cyber kidnapping. Ever heard of it?
Doesn't sound great.
Nah. Well, you're going to learn more. More Harvard. Am I the asshole? Sadly, another tragedy in Japan to start the year, and much more to discuss. Wes, Mark, how you doing?
Yeah, okay. I'm happy to be here. I feel physical.
New year, new you, right? You feel great? 2024?
Not yet, but this is the year I'm gonna feel great. Just starts tough. What about you, Wes? You over your sickness?
I'm like 85, 90%, but I'm over a week of no smoking, so that's good. I'm trying to parlay the flu into you know what was funny? I was thinking about it. During my whole flu thing, which was terrible, I advise everyone to get the flu shot because I hadn't had it in 10 years and it hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. It was the worst sickness I've ever had, but I'd never lost my appetite. So I'm like secluded in my room, and every now and again I would walk out and just get a giant plate of food. So it looked like I'm having the time of my life. Like I'm like,
well, yeah. I mean, you got to say whenever anybody sees you in that one, you got to say, what's the saying? It's like a starve a cold, feed a fever, or whatever. Is that
right?
I
don't know.
So you keep telling people that. And that's
but I looked like I was on vacation because I was just in my room. And I would come out and just get like lasagna, and then, but I was dying inside.
You felt bad, but you were
you should lose 20 pounds. You should lose 20 pounds in the flu, and you were eating.
No, I had no loss of appetite.
Everyone's not feeling great. They call me Big Joe. Live comments has got absolutely no rest over the holidays. Back to work, feeling like unwashed ass. Let's go. I think that's what's going on with me. We'll see. But
yeah. Well, I bruised my leg so hard, just drunkenly running into a railing inside my house that I gave myself like a full leg bruise. Like I hit it so hard.
How many colors we're talking? Multicolored?
We're talking like multiple, like on the thigh and the shin. Just some purples, some reds, some blues. It's not good. Not good. So you can tell we're struggling. So don't forget, you can support the podcast and the boys by using our sponsors who we read ads for, and also by signing up for more content at patreon.com/hardfactor, but also store.hardfactor.com. If you want to rep the pod in the wild, get the perfect gift for the Hard Factor listener in your life, whatever. So
text a friend. Yeah. And we're starting the fatathon soon. We are starting the fatathon soon.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try dry January because I feel like I'm gonna die every night I go to sleep. But let's do the news.
You know who you're with? 3 Factor, yeah. This is real news.
And just like yesterday, we're starting the show with the top story of the day.
The cream of the crop.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. And this top story of the day is fucking nuts in what is being described as a miracle. Although some on board one of the planes, like those who died, might describe it more as a nightmare. Japan got hit with another disaster this week when 2 planes collided on the runway at Tokyo's award-winning safety airport, the Haneda Airport.
That's horrible.
It's real bad. They went up in flames. The larger plane, an Airbus A350 was landing, and another plane was either in their runway spot or was like taking off the smaller plane. And here's some of the footage. Yeah, here's some of the footage from on board the plane when the look to your left, it's a fiery inferno.
Right. Smoke from the plane, fire outside.
And to your left, you'll see hell. Yeah. They're all begging to be let off the plane in Japanese.
Terrifying. Oh man, those planes are huge right next to the plane. I mean, just roaring fire.
I thought they saw Godzilla outside.
Yeah, no kidding. been that type of year so far for
Yeah,
Japan.
I mean, the tsunami, and then that, and then this.
Earthquakes, tsunamis, and fiery infernos on your plane.
Wasn't one of the planes a Coast Guard plane or a military plane that all the people I'm sure you'll get to it.
It was, Wes, and they were planning on delivering aid to the earthquake victims on that plane.
My God.
Oh no, this is like a logistical failure in the wake of another disaster.
That's right. The Coast Guard plane was like extra planes that were going to take off, and they didn't. Maybe the initial reports are air traffic control gave the Airbus A350 clearance to land, so they didn't know that the Coast Guard plane was there.
That's on air traffic control. I mean, it is,
or the Coast Guard, but it's not on the pilot of the Airbus.
Right.
Tragic, no matter what. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, pretty bad. So anyways, amazingly, everyone on board the larger Airbus survived in what is hailed as a perfect evacuation. Pay the flight attendants more, am I right? You know?
Oh,
yeah. Good job.
Everybody survived on the Airbus. Okay, on the larger. Okay, but not.
Well, they can go 2 at a time down those slides over there, because they're tiny.
That's true. And they're quick.
Advantage.
Yeah.
Well, they're also used
sometimes
to
3 at a time
than America, right? Yeah.
It's true. There's some footage of them going 3 at a time. And in Japan, they also have the advantage of getting on and off public transportation, like the people movers.
Oh yeah.
Like they're used to getting on and off and packing things really quickly and unpacking things. Yeah.
Well, good. Glad. I mean, that sucks. It's you can't call something a miracle when people die. I mean, you just can't.
Well, the miracle is the Airbus A350, 379 all survived. That's
right. I know
miracle.
that, but
I mean, because their plane was so much larger that I think the second they hit the other plane, they basically disintegrated it. Like they just wiped that plane off.
Plane was
disintegrated. Yes, 5 people on board, 5 military people on board died, and the pilot's in critical condition. So I think there was only like 7 people on board, and they pretty much all,
miraculous, not miracle. Use that term.
Well, okay.
Right, because it was really not a miracle.
I know it's not you.
Yeah.
Right, really not a miracle for the tinier plane that was destroyed by the Airbus.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. 17-year-old passenger on the Airbus, Swedish man Anton Deeb, described right after the collision, saying the entire cabin was filled with smoke within minutes. The smoke in the cabin stung like hell. It was a hell. We threw ourselves down on the floor. Then the emergency doors were opened and we threw ourselves at them. We had no idea where we were going, so we just ran into the field and kept running. And then we looked back and the plane was on fire. Yeah.
Whew. That's bad. It's bad.
So maybe not a perfect evacuation. At least he didn't describe it as which. But the important thing is everyone got off. Sounds like there are a few George Costanzas screaming fire and pushing kids out of the way.
Yeah. I would have been throwing Japanese people out of the way.
Yeah, choke slamming them,
picking them up, throwing right behind me.
Yeah. Really
over
puts it in
shoulder.
perspective too. Yeah, exactly. It would have been frantic, but it puts it in perspective too. We're bitching about some stuff, before the show here, and these are real problems, that these people are doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Japan's really in it. The crew on board was able to communicate, or they were able to tell where the fire was. So for the first 90 seconds, the fire was isolated to I think the front of the plane, and for whatever reason, the back doors were jammed, so only the middle doors open. So everyone had to get off the plane and through the one set of doors and down the one slide, which they did. And they said the reason no one died, only 14 people had to be treated for minor injuries, was because absolutely no one went for their overhead luggage. Could you imagine some assholes going for his laptop?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good that they valued their lives over their luggage.
They did.
The flames outside the plane, though, there's no chance you're stopping for anything. You're grabbing your kids and you're jumping out of the fucking plane. You think it's going to explode any second. You see those kinds of flames out your window when you're sitting on a plane.
That's true, but not only are they tiny and fit, but they're workaholics. So it is surprising some of them didn't go for some of their work. They work 90-hour weeks over there.
Stuffed it in their pockets. The important thing. The most important.
I'll just start over.
They all have their USBs.
Exactly.
Right. Flash drives changing the game.
So here's a couple images of the plane being completely on fire. It was nuts. This one's without sound. It's a video. Let me get it up.
The images in the videos are just out of control. It's crazy.
Yeah, they said that they were they got everyone off in 5 minutes, and within 10 minutes, that was what the plane looked like, and it took several hours.
they were right to be scared because I mean that plane went up as soon as everybody got off. So
no, I mean if someone was taking a shit, which you shouldn't be doing while landing, but if someone was taking a shit, that was probably the end for them. So no one was taking a shit. I guess
you'd be doing it in your pants while watching the ground fire of the other plane exploding.
I think a few did it in their pants for sure.
Oh yeah.
And as we discussed already, 5 people died on the other plane. They were trying to seek aid to the massive 7.6 earthquake that hit Japan on New Year's Day. So
has the death toll in that risen? I know it was only like 6 before, but
I don't think. Oh, and the earthquake.
Yeah, I know that's a big earthquake.
It's just keep on coming for Japan.
Yeah, Eric, if you fact check that.
Semi-Elon Musk on X. It must be Elon's burner. Says kind of think Will should stay with this look forever, and so
yeah, I agree.
It's been some regular feedback, so I might be bleaching the goatee for a while. Okay.
If we get to 150K on Instagram, which we will in a couple weeks, you have to keep it.
There you go. That's the rule.
They have to get. They're investigating why the 2 planes were at the same spot, but I already said traffic control gave them the go ahead. So tough start to 2024 for Japan. People in Japan and all over the world are currently dealing with anxiety and depression. And if you're one of the millions of Americans struggling with anxiety or depression, hand up, you're not alone. Millions of Americans are searching for ways to feel better, but feel like they've exhausted every option and don't know where to turn. If that sounds like you, then maybe guided ketamine therapy from Mindbloom could be a game changer. Mindbloom can help you feel better and faster. Mindbloom is the leader in ketamine therapy, having helped tens of thousands of people overcome their anxiety and depression. And Mindbloom's expert clinicians and guides can help you feel better in days, not weeks. That's awesome. And you can complete treatment entirely from the comfort of your home, which is also awesome. That's not bad. In a study of over 1,000 Mindbloom clients, 89% reported improvements in their anxiety and depression after only 4 sessions. Now, Mindbloom has new programs that go beyond depression and anxiety to help you overcome challenges in everyday life. So, I don't know. I'd say give it a shot. They're awesome, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If you're at the end of your rope and you've tried everything, it's worth a shot.
They're doing amazing things in Mindbloom. Right now, Mindbloom is offering our listeners $100 off your first 6-session program when you sign up at mindbloom.com/hardfactor and use promo code hardfactor. Break free from your anxiety and depression and feel better and faster with Mindbloom. Mindbloom.com/hardfactor and use promo code hardfactor.
Nice. Can someone? I seem to remember. Maybe something with Tiller. What was the bet?
Did you bet?
Tiller's live comment says still waiting on that $50, Wes. Tiller, you're gonna have to explain. We went through an entire holiday season of not remembering anything we did the last week.
So if you can refresh my memory, I will not, if we had a bet.
And Tiller, you can pretty much say anything because we have no idea.
He cut.
It was a setup. Put up the other comment. Holy shit, Tiller! Yes. No. Well, Wes, you owe Tiller $50 because he cut his own grass.
Right.
So
I got it.
Making fun of Wes for paying his neighbor $300 for fixing his own fence.
Go to patreon.com/hardfactor for that hilarious episode.
First zing of the new year.
Touche, Tiller.
Oh my God.
I was like, did I bet Tiller?
Welcome back, buddy. He says.
Thanks, buddy.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Fair enough.
Whoa.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. And I look at it every day. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna cover this Harvard bullshit quickly because frankly I am very sick of hearing about this dumb Harvard president Claudine Gay. She's finally resigning. Okay, you might remember that during the House, or there was some kind of hearing with Elise Stefanik, representative from New York, and she was asking all these elite presidents of Ivy League schools if the anti-Semitism during the Palestinian protests were against their bullying policies or against their rules. and everyone said it depends on the context.
Speaking of Tiller, she set those three up and knocked them out with a hypothetical scenario, which they should have just said yes to. She was like, if is saying that all Jews should die something that goes against your standards, which probably wasn't happening, but they still didn't fucking say yes, that would be against our guidelines.
Well, she trapped the presidents of MIT, Penn, and Harvard,
She
all in her
off the
net.
face of the earth with a hypothetical.
It was they got of a lifetime for ruining these three presidents' careers, and now they've all resigned with Gay, right?
Yeah. So she finally, after, and it wasn't just that got her to finally resign. She wasn't going to resign over those comments. She was holding to her guns with those, even though they lost billions in donations. She had no plans of resigning until these plagiarism accusations came out, and everyone in the academia started turning on her, including other African-American academics who said that she had no right being there because she'd been plagiarizing for years and decades. And finally, after 6 new plagiarism allegations dropped yesterday, she decided that she announced her resignation.
I'm sure it was the plagiarism.
Yeah.
I mean, like the reason the plagiarism shit dropped is because everybody's pissed at her for the hearing.
Because they hate her.
People started looking. Yeah.
She's, you think one of the smartest people in academia would realize when it was time to hang it up, and she never did. But finally she did. No official date. So she's probably going to drag it on for a long time, but she did say that she will resign for the better of the university and blah 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 blah.
She only lasted 6 months in charge there.
6 months, yeah.
Harvard's having a tough time too.
Shortest president ever, right?
Yeah. So she's gone. Okay.
Imagine being in a job for 6 months and then making that clip in Congress. That's just
that was tough.
So the one person resigned right away, right? Did all three are out now after that? Like that was the MIT person was out right away.
Yeah.
And then
I think Gay was the last one holding out.
Yeah.
The most Aryan looking woman was out the fastest. She was out like within hours of the hearing.
She was like, fine by me. Gives me more time to hunt down Jews.
Yeah. One of the professors who Gay is accused of plagiarizing this girl, former professor Carol Swain, said that Harvard lacked the courage to fire its first black president, and that Gay was getting a free pass. And there's some other bullshit going on about how her resignation was the most narcissistic thing that anyone's ever seen, and what she wrote, and some racial stuff and all this stuff. I don't care. I'm sick of her. She should have resigned immediately because it was the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Okay, let's move on.
Her I had a dream speech was a little peculiar. It was a little too on the nose.
Yeah. 4 and I had a dream.
Yeah, what did she put? She sent some long letter to everybody. How can you be narcissistic in your resignation?
It was just blaming
I was making
bigotry,
fun of the plagiarism. I saw some of the plagiarisms were so minor too. Like if you copy like 2 words, it counts as plagiarism.
Yeah,
they want
a lot of people hated her. I mean, a lot of people didn't want her to be there, and finally she's done. And
there was probably like one legitimate one, then everybody just piggybacked it because they wanted her gone.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how egregious the plagiarism was, but people did not like her, and she's gone. Okay, so I've got one of these "Am I the asshole?" things I found, and usually I don't know if these things are even real, but I found this one was pretty interesting. Might evoke a good conversation. So
our conversation will be real. Our opinions will be real.
Yes, exactly. So here's the post. It's from a male. He's a doctor. He's in his mid-30s, and he wrote, "Am I the asshole?" And he says, "I'm a medical doctor working as an internal medicine hospitalist at a major hospital. Recently, I was on a long-haul international flight. Usually, I sleep on flights, but this was during my waking hours, so I decided to spend my time enjoying the in-flight entertainment and free drinks." Obviously, he's a doctor. He's in business class. He was getting those free drinks. "I already had been drinking even before the flight while I was in the lounge," because, you get those free drinks in the lounge, too. And this part is important in my mind because he says, quote, "I was not slurring or excessively drunk, but I was feeling a strong buzz." And he said, "Usually I don't chat with my co-passengers. I just sleep or do my own thing. On this flight, the configuration of the business class cabin was such that the passengers in the middle row were practically just beside each other. So there was a small partition separating me from my co-passenger, which is a woman in her mid-30s. and that it, it could be raised, whatever, give him some privacy, but it didn't. So anyway, they were so close. She started a conversation. He said that because he was, a little buzzed, had liquid courage, he decided he was feeling chatty, started talking to her. She asked what he did, and he said, "I'm a doctor, and I work at this hospital and such and such." And then they ended their conversation. And he says, I was trying to watch my movie and enjoy my drinks when an announcement was made asking if there was a doctor on the flight. And he says, normally I would present myself to the cabin crew and help out, but after several hours of on-flight boozing, I was pretty drunk. I was not able to think clearly and probably would have done more harm than good in such a situation. He said, I didn't react to the announcement at all. I continued watching my movie and drinking my drink. And then the woman, co-passenger, tapped me and was like, "Hey, you told me you're a doctor. They just announced they needed a doctor." And he said, I replied that someone else would help or they would get instructions from the medical team on the ground. She tried convincing me, but I refused. She then said I was an unbelievable asshole, and if the passenger died, it was my fault. I said, listen, lady, just because I'm a doctor doesn't mean I'm on call 24/7 to provide medical care on demand. I work when I'm at the hospital. Outside, I'm just like anyone else, and I'm entitled to drink and relax. But she was disgusted, and even after they deboarded, she called him an asshole again.
If I was a porn star and someone was horny, would I have to fuck him on the plane?
Right. I guess that's the logic. Yeah. If I was,
yeah, toots.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm a garbage man. You want me to clean up their trash?
yeah, right. It's like that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where he's in the golf the locker room and the guy's like, "Can you mind taking a look at this?" He's like, "Yeah, but if you make an appointment, I'll take a look at it." He's like, "Well, you're right. You're fucking right here. Just take a look. Tell me if I'm dying."
He's the asshole.
Yeah, he's the asshole.
This is the emergency.
This guy on the plane is an asshole.
He's a fucking asshole.
100%. The alleged doctor, is an asshole.
Right. Yeah. So like,
you just go up and say like, "Hey, I'm drunk, but do you need my help?
Would you prefer I help drunk or not help?" And
listen,
then I get everyone to vote on it or whatever.
A drunk doctor is better than no doctor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. What he fucked up on was he said it was important to the story, and it is. He doesn't normally chat with people. So he normally doesn't fucking say shit, so nobody would know. Yeah. And then it was like his personal nightmare of he accidentally got too drunk and was chatting with his neighbor, told them he was a doctor. Then they asked for a doctor.
Preface it with so many normally I don't. Normally I sleep. Right. Normally I don't chat. Normally I don't drink. Normally, come on.
Right. But once you're drunk and you've told somebody you're a doctor, you have to then get up and be like, okay, do you need me? Right. I'm drunk.
Dude, it could have been a simple like defibrillator question, like, how do we fucking use this thing? She's dying. Or like, hey, a simple question. They didn't ask, he wasn't about to perform surgery probably, but he certainly has the knowledge in his, even if he's drunk, his brain that might have helped the situation, but he refused. He just sat there and did absolutely nothing. And I think he's a fucking prick. But the internet is saying that maybe he did the right thing, because they're like, the thing he did that was wrong was he didn't tell the lady that he was drunk, and that's why. But I was like, dude, what the fuck? If you're a doctor, you shouldn't. I don't know if you should be allowed to drink on a plane if you're a doctor. That's my opinion.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
No, doctors have to get drunk on planes. But
no,
I mean,
Whoa,
if he's going to offer any assistance, he has to clarify at first that, like, hey, I really shouldn't be giving this assistance
drink max
because I'm inebriated, right?
So you're saying doctors are like priests where they can't have sex, because they've chosen this path.
Three drink max. You're on a plane. You might be the only motherfucker on there that can save someone's life, and you selfishly decide to get hammered to the beyond you're being able to help someone.
You're pushing me over to the doctor's side.
Yeah, I disagree with you on this one.
Well,
he's on vacation.
I don't really believe that. I'm just trying to. Yeah. But if I was dying, that's how I'd feel. Like this motherfucker.
Right. You'd be pissed, but
if my wife was dying, or my girlfriend was dying, or my kid was dying, I'd be like, you said there was a doctor on the plane, but he got too hammered to help. Whoa.
There was probably 3 drunk doctors on the plane.
I mean, feel good. Yeah. The other ones were just smart enough to not say they were doctors.
Right.
I don't know.
Half of first class was doctors.
And even look,
I get you. They need the Hippocratic oath, right? They're supposed to help save lives, but I think it's of their patients, right? And these people aren't necessarily their patients, is the guy's point. And I don't know. He's the asshole in this situation, but I could see why if you were a doctor, you wouldn't tell people you were on a plane, so you wouldn't have to like help people outside of work.
Listen,
I
think you need to, if you're a doctor, sure, go. If you're like, on the ground where there's potentially an ambulance or someone else that can rush to help. But I think if you're on in a plane, maybe just wait until you get on the ground to be hammered. That's what I think.
But what if they're okay? I mean, you're always going to be around people.
Yeah, but on a plane, there's no way to get them to a hospital.
You might be the only away pit bulls, and he's taking away drinks for doctors.
Yeah, you might be the only person that can help for hours on a plane. on the ground, there's many other people.
With your logic, no one would sign up to be a doctor ever.
Well, they should. Well, listen, the Hippocratic Oath, like Will says, specifically says, "I swear by Apollo, the physician, and Asclepius, and Hygeia, and Panchaea, and all the gods and goddesses as my witnesses, that according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath and this contract." And remember, this is old text, way before women became smart enough to become doctors. So the first oath is, "I will find any way." You guys might get that. I will find any way I can.
I like it.
I gave it a
1990
step on your reading. I acknowledged it.
Come on, let's talk about that one. I will find any way I can.
It's still the case in a lot of places.
It is. Yeah. First,
Taliban hasn't accepted this.
Yeah.
No. The first oath says, "I will find any way I can to work in the daily conversations or wedding toasts that I am a doctor and therefore the best man in the room." Right.
Yeah.
Second oath says, "I will wear my scrubs in public, even when I'm not on duty or not necessary."
Oh,
Third
if he was
oath.
in scrubs, by the way, then.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Then he's totally the asshole.
Dude, if I was a doctor, I would live in my scrubs.
Or just so that you could talk about being a doctor.
Yeah, of course. If I work that hard, that's all I'm talking about all day. Is I've got 8,000 pairs of scrubs. The third oath is, "I will not give a lethal drug to anyone if I am asked, nor will I would advise such a plan. And similarly, I will not give a woman a pessary to cause an abortion." So that's actually a real one.
Where does it say I will not get hammered on a plane?
It says, "It's my responsibility, no matter where I am, to save the peasants in need of my expertise." That's what it.
Okay.
Oh, really? That's part of it. Wow. Well, then yeah, the asshole.
No, that's not real, but that's should be.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
should be. Listen, I think I'm going to stand with it. 3 drink maximum for doctors on planes.
This is your second one, doctor. Pace yourself.
That's right. There could be an emergency.
Yeah.
We might need you.
There's a real fat person up there. They're not looking good.
Right. It's 3 fat guys up there getting hammered. And one of them just did a line of blow. You're probably going to.
They've gone way past their 3 drink limit, which they don't have because they're not doctors.
Because they didn't work hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, I believe it. I truly.
Right. Well, here's a good definite story that's similar, Wes. Back in November, but this came out like last week. A woman on board a plane. Where was she going? Dorothy Fletcher. She was traveling from Manchester to Florida. So I guess the UK, maybe to Florida, or maybe there's a Manchester in the United States. I don't know. Mm-hmm. She was on a plane and she had a heart attack. And luckily for her, she had a cardiac situation. She was on a plane with 15 cardiologists going to a cardiologist convention. So they saved her.
Well, thank God they weren't all hammered like this piece of shit.
Yeah. So a couple months ago,
I think if something's really going down, they're probably going to get back on the loudspeaker and be like, "Hey, we really need that doctor," and then all the drunk doctors have to be like, "Oh, fucking fine."
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't hammered. He said he wasn't slurring his speech or that inebriated. He just was enjoying it. Sounds to me like he was just enjoying his time and was a little selfish. That's what it sounds like.
He was like, "Thank God I don't have to do any doctoring."
Right. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys, you want to have better sex, but erectile dysfunction is getting in the way? If so, you're not alone. Millions of men deal with the hardships of ED, but with HIMS, there's a simpler, affordable way to get treated for ED so you can get your groove back in the bedroom in 2024 at a cost that you desire. HIMS is changing men's health care by providing access to affordable and discreet sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. The process is simple and 100% online. No uncomfortable doctor's visits. answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free and in discreet packaging. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments, online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, so if ED is getting you down, literally, it's time to change that. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/hardfactor. That's HIMS.com/hardfactor for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/hardfactor. Prescriptions require an online consultation with healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
You didn't upsize the font again, did you?
No.
Really straight in to read that one.
I'm gonna have glasses here. I'm gonna have glasses here in the next 2 weeks.
Light in there.
Failed your driver's test. You need to get glasses.
My parents got me some Costco gift cards for Christmas. I'm using a large portion of that for some glasses at Costco.
Fucking glasses, dude. And you're gonna need a doctor after you get the Hims, but it's more of a like a plastic surgeon to remove the permanent smile after you take the Hims. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mood enhancer for sure. For you, for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So taking it back to the top of the show, where I was asking you, do you know what cyber kidnapping is?
Still don't.
Okay.
No.
So any ideas on how you would cyber kidnap?
I would guess it's like stealing someone's account.
Or is it like kidnapping someone in like the metaverse?
Right, something like that, like kidnapping their account or something like that. Like
you guys are like, you're sniffing around it, right around it. It's an online scam where online kidnappers, all right, they find someone, usually kids, somebody young who they can bully or like threaten, and then they tell their victim to isolate and provide pictures of themselves as if they were being held captive. So you like bully somebody into pretending that they're being held hostage, right? Those photos that the cyber kidnappers get are then sent to the victim's family to extort them for a payment of some sort, right?
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's basically just cyberbullying to extort money. They threaten to harm typically the kids or their family, and then they hold them, hostage, right, on FaceTime or Skype while they extort the parents for money. So like,
so it's kind of like when, like, remember that guy?
It was like McDonald's and stuff.
Well, it was like the documentary with like the most hated man on the internet, where he found he got all those like pictures of like naked high schoolers, and then he like, I don't know if he actually tried to extort them, but it's like similar, kind of like
extort high schoolers. We covered a group that was like both like Satanist and something else, Naziist. There was like all of this. And they were like extorting young kids this way, getting them to commit crimes and
kids
stuff.
Kill themselves because of this shit all the time.
Sounds like a combination of that and the guy who used to call fast food places and then convince the managers that someone's employee's stealing and she has to strip search them and get her naked and take naked pictures and send them.
Yeah. Like that. Basically, yeah.
Kids, like I said, kids kill themselves because of this type of stuff.
So I can see how the kids could get scared and be like, oh no, but then the parents. Where are the parents? There's a disconnect between the kids being like, oh no, I'm getting kidnapped, even though they're not, and then the parents believing that they're actually kidnapped, right? Based on the pictures.
Well, Mark, that is a great question.
Where are the parents?
It's a great question, Mark.
Check the basement.
It's true. I'm going to answer it for you. We've got a fresh case in America this week in Riverdale, Utah, where the parents of a Chinese exchange student at a high school in Riverdale named Kai Zhang, he's 17 years old. They were sent photographs that allegedly showed Kai abducted, but he was cyberbullied into producing and sending them himself, obviously. The parents received, quote unquote, continuous threats from the cyber kidnappers, and they eventually sent 80,000 American to bank accounts in China as the ransom payment. After which time, I guess, they reported it to the local high school and Riverdale Police Department in Utah at about 8:30 p.m. on December 28th, 2023.
Gotcha. So once they get the 80,000 USD, they then send an internet message to the kid saying you're unkidnapped.
I don't know when the payment happened.
Like, whew. Thank God.
You can come out of the closet now.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Basically. Right. Except they make them do shit crazier than just go into a closet because I guess it's a whole scam. And so
they must say like, we're outside and we're going to kill you if you don't like they have.
They say that they're going to kill the family. The family's in China.
Yeah,
he's in Utah. Right. They're threatening to kill his family if he doesn't do this. Or they say we have somebody in Utah that'll kill you if you don't do this.
Right.
And he's young and impressionable. He goes for it. And I'm not sure exactly when the parents send the 80 grand to the cyber kidnappers over in China, but it's like a China to China transaction, Chinese bank account to Chinese bank account. But it turns out that Kai over here in Utah had actually been sent home from Provo, Utah on a camping trip the week before on December 20th by the police in Provo, who were concerned for his safety in the cold. But he didn't end up telling anybody on that trip about the scam. He just went home to Riverdale, Utah, and ended up doing it all over again on December 28th when he was finally recovered and his parents had paid the ransom by the time he was recovered. So it all happened really quick that day because Kai's host family heard him in the kitchen in the morning on Thursday, December 28th, but he was in the mountains in the evening with only basic camping supplies to keep him warm, in the dead of winter in the mountains by the time he was reported missing that evening. And so it was a good thing that Utah police did indeed find him the next day. They found him like the morning. They deployed a team of drones or something, and they used phone records to locate him in the mountains near Brigham City, Utah. And so,
is Kai in on this?
I mean, it begs the question.
They're
Potentially,
they're
right?
either preying on idiots or exactly. This is insane. Like, call your parents and be like, look out the window. Are you being attacked right now? There's people saying they're going to kill you. Like this,
they knew too much.
The parents and the kids communicating once, even if it's overseas and they're on vacation and this is over.
They knew he was on a camping trip. Like they knew too much. Like something.
Well, they keep him on. So he had to buy additional phones to be able to charge his backup to stay on Skype or FaceTime with the kidnappers the whole time. So I guess basically they keep him all of his devices occupied so that he can't do that.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm with Wesley. I think probably a high percentage of cyber kidnappings has an inside guy.
Yeah.
Or just kids. I mean, it happens. It happens with other stuff. I mean, I think kids are just very, very on the internet. They're very, very easy to take advantage of, it seems.
I mean, look, if you're like a rich kid and like your parents won't give you any money, it would be like very tempting to
it'd be a
do
great
like
scam.
Great scam. Like, hey, well, I'm gonna extort my own parents.
I remember back in the day,
fake cyber kidnapping.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I got a phone call from a private detective, and he said that he knew that I was harboring another teenager that was a felon at the house, and that I was going to get in trouble. And like he like really freaked me out. So I called my dad at work. He ends up getting in touch with the guy, and it was nipped in the bud because I just made like one phone call. I don't really know what the resolution to it was, but the guy wasn't. He was either convinced that I wasn't harboring a felon, or he was a scam.
Well, young Mark would not get cyber kidnapped, but young Kai allegedly did. The FBI says that these cyber kidnapping attacks are on the rise, especially ones that target Chinese exchange students in particular. And obviously the advice, as Mark just said, is to not engage with anybody who tries to start anything like this with you. Just, call your dad or call the cops. Instead. Yeah.
Yep.
Kidnapping.
It also reminds me of kind of like when the prank call where you call like a Chinese place and you set up a order and you're like, hang on, my uncle's going to read that back to you. And then you call another Chinese place and you put them on two-way speaker and they're each reading the order to each other.
Sal and Richard. Yeah. Those are the best.
That's a classic prank call gag. Yeah. Those are fantastic. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, like I said at the top, patreon.com/hardfactor if you need more content. Store.hardfactor.com if you need a gift for the Hard Factor listener in your life or just want to support the pod and rep the pod in the wild, because we have some great designs out there. But most importantly, get out there and have yourselves a great fucking day.